A fair criticism of what I do on this channel would be that I tend to jump to the defense of my friends here online, even if they are internet foins. I try to back them, maybe even sometimes when it's questionable to do so. I think I'm fine with people saying I'm too loyal. I think I'll sleep just fine at night, having that be hurled at me as an insult or weakness. But there are a few of my close personal internet foins here online that really tend to attract some awful people. That would be Dankula Sargon Lauren Chen. These are people that other people make a literal career out of lying about, two of the three of which have had their livelihoods completely destroyed by essentially one person or one type of person having their abilities to support their families or their future families put at risk because of the deplatforming grift that Mark Stefano has run via Buzzfeed News and then until today on a couple of other websites. So you just hate to see it. Now that his entire journalistic career has been destroyed, he is currently suspended pending firing. You just hate to see it. Smash like if you hate to see a BuzzFeed hack go down in flames. That's right. An original tweet by Sam said, "Told y'all Mark Stefano was bad, actually." Posting this are screen caps from The Independent. Financial Times reporter accessed private calls at The Independent and Evening Standard. Media correspondent eavesdropping on Zoom meetings as staff were told sensitive news about pay cuts and furloughs during the coup. A Financial Times reporter listened in on confidential and sensitive video calls at rival news organizations as staff were told about salary cuts and furloughs by editors and the senior managers an investigation by The Independent has established. Now, this is kind of a double benefit because we get to touch on more fake media layoffs as well as roast a guy that has hurt people that I care about. Mark Stefano accessed private Zoom meetings held by The Independent and The Evening Standard as journalists learned how measures introduced because of the coup would affect them. Log files show an account registered to DeStefano's FT.com email address joined private video calls from the Independent staff on Thursday for 16 seconds. The caller's video was disabled, but journalists saw his name flash briefly on the screen before he left the meeting. Oopsie doopsie poopsie. 5 minutes later, a separate account joined the call. This time it was unnamed. You idiot! You idiot! He joined under his personal account and then came back to try and create an anon account. Again, video was switched off so that only a black square was displayed among the screens showing up to the 100 people who had been invited to attend. The anonymous user account, which remained in the meeting until the end, was later shown to be linked to the mobile phone used by the same Financial Times reporter. Stefano posted the news on Twitter while the Independent staff were still being told details of and reasonings behind the salary cuts and furloughs before the editor, Christian Boughton, and senior management at the title had even contacted other journalists who could not join the call, including those based in the U.S. So essentially, people that haven't been informed of the layoffs had to find out publicly. Great reporting. Shortly afterwards, the Financial Times published a report by Stefano, including confidential details about the company's advertising downturn, and quoting Chief Executive Zach Leonard, the article stated that, quote, people on the call were the source of the story. The investigation by The Independent also shows the account linked gained access to Evening Standard's video call made by editor George Osborne announcing large-scale furloughs and salary cuts on April 1st. Again, the details appeared on Stefano's Twitter account describing the internal Zoom call before it had ended, and a report quoting Osborne in the private meeting appeared on the Financial Times. Now, if you don't know who this gentleman is, well, it's actually the guy that got Count Dankula demonetized. The story, as he reports it, he has a video up on his second channel, which I recommend you check out as well. He reached out to YouTube directly and wrote pieces like this. Tommy Robinson and Carl Benjamin have failed to get elected in the European Parliament. Robinson lost his deposit, blaming the establishment on his failure. Mark DeStefano. How about also Mark DeStefano? Tommy Robinson now reliant on the U.S. crowdfunding platform. The San Francisco founder of DonorBox tweeted that he was using the platform, so of course Mark DeStefano would create this piece, eventually get him deplatformed from this crowdfunding platform, and celebrate that. Mark DeStefano is a deplatformer for hire. If you disagree with his opinions, this is what happens. When he wrote a hit piece and we contacted YouTube about Dank and Tommy, YouTube says Tommy will no longer be able to make money from his videos. Quote, "We have suspended ads to Tommy's YouTube channel as it breaches our advertising policies," a spokesman told Buzzfeed News. You know how these emails go, right? They go, "Oh, I'm just a concerned citizen, and I wanted to reach out to let you know that you have just this terrible person on your platform, and we're gonna run an article on a hit piece on you for this. Just wanted to know if you were gonna respond." That's what it is. And then when they do respond, then they get it'll just turn into a regular hit piece about the person. Tommy's been banned from Facebook and Instagram. Again, Mark DeStefano. This guy is obsessed. Tommy has been kicked off a crowdfunding site for raising money. DonorBox removed Robinson's account following questions from BuzzFeed News. Imagine working for BuzzFeed News and your entire job is deplatforming people you don't agree with. Well, as of today, super sleuth Mark DeStefano has been suspended. FT suspends journalist accused of listening to rival outlets' Zoom calls. A Financial Times reporter has been suspended after the Independent accused him of listening in on two sensitive Zoom meetings held by its senior managers telling staff about salary cuts and furloughs. Mark DeStefano, who joined FT from BuzzFeed in January, has been accused of listening to the audio feed of video conference calls held in the Independent and its sister title, the Evening Standard, about responding to the financial impact of the coup. In each case, DeStefano, a prolific tweeter. Put that on his tombstone, boys. He was a prolific tweeter. He broke the news of the meetings on Twitter at the same time the staff were being informed. I mean, these journalists have no scruples. They have no morals. They are slime, in my opinion. A story on the measures being introduced and blah, blah, blah. The Colors video was disabled, but journalists apparently saw his name flash briefly minutes after a second account joined. The Independent creator, Christian Broughton, said, "We respect freedom of speech and understand the challenges of news gathering, but the Independent considers the presence of a third-party journalist in a staff briefing to be entirely inappropriate and an unwanted intrusion on our employees' privacy. Our spokesperson has a full statement prepared for the press. Any interested reporters only needed to call and ask." A spokesperson for the Evening Standard said, "For a journalist from FT to have illegitimately accessed a private Zoom call is unacceptable. We are sure FT will want to offer an immediate explanation and an apology. The FT's code of conduct says the press must not seek to obtain or publish material acquired by intercepting private or mobile telephone calls, messages, or emails. Engaging in misrepresentation or subterfuge can generally be justified only in the public interest, and then only when the material cannot be obtained by other means." They declined. So how long before Mark DeStefano makes his account private? Let's see. April 25th was the last time it looks like he tweeted. As far as I can tell, looks like it. Yep. Let's see how the replies are going. I like how his pinned tweet is thrilled to start as a media and tech reporter of FT today. I wonder what the top reply is going to be. My DMs are forever open. Congrats. Oh, okay. So I guess nobody's said anything. Interesting. Let's see. Enjoy. Here we go. Enjoy. Ex-Buzzfeed journalist. A lot of trouble. Love the video. Oh, here's Sargon's video. How are you still in the job, narrator? He wasn't temporarily, at least. Haha, exactly like I would picture him to look as well. Congratulations, Mark. You should be proud to be as Punch. Hope the family is as well. Just read the financial news about you. Ha 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 ha. I love it. You just hate to see it. You just hate to see it. One wonders whether your old colleagues in Buzzfeed will write about your own bit of intrigue. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and guess that Buzzfeed will likely not write about this. But, you know, look, I'm not above a little schadenfreude. I'm not above a little celebration when this person has spent the better part of their career targeting people that I consider friends in some cases, and other people whom I simply disagree with. None of these people deserve to be deplatformed, and certainly Mark DeStefano and his what can only be described as deplatforming grift is disgusting, and he deserves every bit of what's about to happen to him within his career path, of course. Now, if you don't know why I'm so happy that things have come around to DeStefano, Dankula has just posted a very helpful thread on his Twitter account. You might notice his new handle there. I can't speak to the veracity of that statement, but I'm going to go ahead and assume it's true. So he says, so everyone knows the full. It's weird, like reporting on someone's Twitter account that you know, but Dankula is way more famous than me. So it works. Everyone knows who he is. Nobody knows who I am. So everyone knows the full extent of what's going on with the DeStefano drama. I'll do a thread. Strap in, boys. Mark has been a very naughty boy. Mark worked for Buzzfeed for many years. During the time, he would intimidate platforms to deplatform, demonetize people whom he claimed were far right, which in Mark's eyes is everyone to the right of Chairman Mao. He was more of an activist than a journalist. He has managed to deplatform Mr. Robinson consistently, as well as get me, Sargon, and many others' whole channels demonetized by lying to platforms, saying we were super Nazi priests trying to resurrect Mr. Hankily Clankety to begin the second Boogaloo, also known as lying. At Buzzfeed, he was doing all kinds of subterfuge, lying, getting info by very sinister means. All this is part and parcel of working at a place like Buzzfeed or other left-wing rags. They don't care about ethics or morals. They care about money by any means necessary. So after years of that, he got used to it. He's kind of thought that is what journalism is. In January of this year, he was hired by the Financial Times, a proper I'm a big boy now publication, not the type that consistently lies or publishes top 10 lists about avocados. He, however, is still doing the usual scheming. He seemed to think that manipulation and crossing the line of what is considered legal is just something you do as a journalist. He even seems to have an issue with data protection laws that protect your private information. Looking at his tweet, I've been on the receiving end of some data protection laws being used against journalism. DM me against anything you think particularly galling or not being reported. Fast forward to today, Mark DeStefano has been suspended from the Financial Times after just 3 months. So what did he do? Well, the boy messed up big time. So much so that it's actually causing problems between major newspapers and has probably cost him career. Due to the coof, a lot of workplaces are conducting meetings via Zoom. Zoom is notorious for being lax in security. Lots of trolling videos appear on YouTube of people joining meetings. Mark decided to exploit this to gather information by spying on rival papers. I will say that clearly somebody gave Mark that link, I would imagine. Mark snuck into a private meeting for The Independent and the Evening Standard, but despite his years of subterfuge training at Buzzfeed, he messed up by joining the meeting with the account using his Financial Times work email, showing his full name to everybody. Mark, realizing that he messed up, and instantly disconnects and then rejoins the meeting using a different account. He begins listening to the staff being told they're being furloughed, loss of work due to the COOF, etc. Mark then starts live tweeting all of this information while being in the meeting. In an investigation, these accounts were traced back to Mark, and the second account he joined was traced to his personal mobile phone. Zoom would not get out that type of information, which is why some people are theorizing that there could be the police involved. As a result, both newspapers and their staff who were spied on, rightfully so, are super mad. Currently, Mark has been suspended from the Financial Times pending an investigation. He could possibly be losing his job, career, or a criminal charge. The Financial Times are doing damage control, asking other publications to remove the words hack or hacked from their stories covering this. So what happens now with dishonest journalists, we'll have to wait and see. Also, YouTube creators, I'd like my monetization back. Now, I would support him getting it back. He has absolutely earned it. And YouTube, it was clearly acting upon the implication Mark was using. This is his grift, is taking other people's money and being happy about it. I support Marcus. I support Carl and anyone else that this guy targeted because he is a hack. He used those same methods to get into other competitors' newspapers and live tweet one of the worst days of a lot of those people's lives. I'm sure there are some good ones in there, and I know it's funny to laugh at all of them losing their job, but I'm going to keep my laughing solely to Mark. It couldn't have happened to a worse person. I'm definitely going to put hack in the video title, so definitely don't retweet this on Twitter and share it with Buzzfeed and the Financial Times and everyone else and spread it far and wide because that would just be awful. I hope you enjoyed this video. We'll talk to you again real soon.